at 10 a.m. right here on KZCC 106.1 and 104.5 FM. Make sure to tune in and keep it on for Community Radio's version of a slow motion train wreck. You will hear our take on some of the world's oddest news, our mind droppings, and general banter from your favorite radio friends, me and Dick Schisler. We are also available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com. That's right. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio Mornings with Lone Star. 10:05. If you're hearing this voice, that means we're live in the studio, and I have a special guest this morning. You can tune in on YouTube and Facebook. Just look up Lone Star Community Radio to watch, or you can listen on the Lone Star Community Radio app or worldwide at irlonestar.com. So, yeah, in the studio with me, we're going to learn all about motorcycles, processing payments, and things I have no idea about. I have Scott Williams in the studio. He is a returning guest. I believe he was on the Weekly Business Hour, I feel like, a while back. I might be mistaken. Is that right, Scott?
Yeah, it's probably about just over a year ago with your dad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
With my dad. But, yeah, so I see Scott all around town, and I'm like, you're always with the motorcycle helmet. And I'm like, this guy's wild. I want to talk to this guy. Because I feel it's almost like riding a motorcycle today, or driving, or whatever you want to consider it, is almost equivalent to like people smoking tobacco. Where people always judge you. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, well, those are dangerous.
Oh, all the time.
And then same thing with, smoking cigarette. Those are dangerous.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, cool. And then,
you get it from the people that don't ride, right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. It's the people that don't ride that still sees, motorcycles as the 1950s motorcycle, 60s motorcycle gangs that are going out, trying to run the drug trade and, do things like that.
I feel like, especially growing up in Houston, it wasn't necessarily like the gangs. It was the crotch rocket guys that would just take over the streets.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I remember one time I was driving to Galveston, and probably about, I would say, 20 plus crotch rockets got on the highway on 45 going southbound, and they all got together, and then they stopped traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going like, these guys are butt heads, and they started doing wheelies. And it was kind of cool, but I was like,
oh yeah, it's kind of like the freeway takeovers and things like that. I mean, that's still kind of an issue, but more now that the takeovers really deal with the cars.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the motorcycle guys have. If you have motorcycles, sometimes you've grown up in them, and I didn't. My dad had them when I was young, and I remember riding. But I've always been intrigued by them, always loved them. But I think these guys that are coming up that are in the motorcycle scene, they understand the dangers of all of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got your. I'm just saying, but people group everyone together, and it's like, oh, you have a Harley, so you're part of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really how you kind of look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to hate on it. They're going to hate on it. But the guys that truly, really enjoy riding motorcycles, they're not going to hate on it. Except when you're being a D-bag.
Yeah, D-bag. That's what we call those people.
So, or we call them squids or whatever.
Squid. I like that a lot.
But, I mean, yeah, putting your life out like that, I mean, there's really nothing between that bike and the pavement. When you hit that pavement doing 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, even if you're riding full gear, there's still that chance of you dying, getting run over. Because I've had that instance. I mean, I was doing 30 and almost got ran over by a car. So, I mean, there's always that chance of danger when you're riding a bike. It's just being conscious of everything that's going on and not putting yourself in that situation to get hurt or die in that.
So you like riding around here? What's your favorite spot?
I really haven't been able to take my bike out like I wanted to because I stopped for about 7 years.
Oh, really?
When my son was born, I sold my bike. Like I rode for, I want to say 16 years, and my son was born, and I got rid of it. And I regretted it as soon as I got rid of it. And my business has got to a point to where it pays for the bike, and I still have all my things taken care of. And so I finally got a bike that I wanted. And so I really haven't been able to take it out. I've probably put 1,000 miles on it, just driving around town.
Yeah.
I will say this, I will not take that bike past Beltway 8. I'm going to keep it north because I've tried to drive. When I had my old bikes, I've driven in Houston, and it was an absolute horrible experience. I mean, even going from Conroe to the Woodlands, I've almost been run over. Yeah, I mean, these people that drive down 45 act like it's NASCAR half the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's me.
I mean, but it
I also
gets
know.
scary.
Oh yeah.
The other day I was riding to, I want to say I was riding to Cycle Gear down in the Woodlands, and I was in the HOV lane because motorcycles are allowed in the HOV lane. And I went to cross over. I went to cross over again because I looked back and I didn't see a car. And I just happened to glance in my mirror, and here comes a gray Nissan Sentra. And I'm doing 80. They were well past 90. I think they were probably topping more like 100. And when I was going into the lane, I just happened to see it, and I was about to cruise into their lane, and I was able to get over before they passed me. I mean, it just scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what riding the motorcycle's all about, man.
Oh yeah.
You can't be afraid to be a little afraid, right?
But I mean, I've ridden everything from dirt bikes to a Hayabusa. I had a Hayabusa for I want to say at least 3-4 years, and I love that bike. That's probably my favorite bike is a Hayabusa, and I rode that thing from Beaumont. I lived in Beaumont for half of my life. I rode that from Beaumont to Orlando. And that was a miserable experience. That's an experience I'll never forget, and I'll probably never do that again. Spent 2 days on that Hayabusa, and that is just, I mean, I still have the physical limitations because of that bike now. It just took my hips, and it just shifted them weird. So I still have issues because of that bike.
That's so funny. No, I mean, that's one thing I really respect about people who ride motorcycles is the love of the act. Because when I meet like Harley guys, like certain ones of them are like, yeah, I want to go to California. Like that's my vacation is driving to California and going up and down the coast or going to the East Coast or whatever. And that's what they want to do. Yeah. And then you have guys who just like going out for a ride for the evening or for the morning or something like that. Because I had a friend who'd only ride in the mornings and from like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then he wouldn't, especially on Sundays. He loved Sundays because everyone's at church. So like no one was really on the roads, and so that's when he loved doing it. And then I always wanted a motorcycle more for transportation, not for the fun of it. Because I remember telling you about that Honda Cub. I was like, I always wanted one of those because you just go to the grocery store real quick. Yeah. You don't have to like get in the car, do all this stuff. It's like, let's just hop on this baby and go get the milk and bread. Yeah. And then you can get in and out real quick. And I always want to be that guy who just pops up on the curb, like riding an HEV, and just be like, there you go, I'm on here.
When I got to get my daily caffeine and I'm riding, I'll hop up on the sidewalk.
I love it. Dude. And but that's cool, man. And so you're still riding, kind of. You brought your helmet.
Yeah, I love that helmet.
Yeah, show the camera. This is your camera right here.
So I've lived in Texas for about 40 years, and I love Texas.
So you got the yellow rose.
Yep.
You got a rattlesnake.
And the Texas flag. And then Texas Libre.
Oh, what is that for? Is that like your call sign?
No, that's what they put on the helmet. So this isn't a wrap. This is actually made by Icon. And they put that on the back.
What's that little speaker box thing on the left side?
Oh, so that's, I mean,
what
you
is
got to
that?
have music when you ride.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. So I have a couple of helmets. So I have another one that has... it's got the Republic of Texas, the birthday of Texas and all that on it, and it's got one of those too. But these can connect to each other. For when me and my wife, when my wife does ride with me, we can talk to each other.
Oh,
just listen to
wow,
music. Yeah,
that's really cool.
So yeah.
So do you have a camera and everything?
That's my next purchase because I want to start documenting some of the things that I see when I ride.
Oh, that's awesome because I always like those videos of the dudes.
Dude, like cool. And now they're getting all these attachments to where you can put them on the forks or on the front axles, and you can, get a different point of view what it looks like. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I'm gonna get me one of those little 360s and a GoPro. In fact, I might buy a GoPro next week because I'm going to Vegas, and I'm going to.
So you're riding to Vegas?
No, I'm not riding to Vegas. I'm not doing that again. No, I'm flying out there to go to a music festival.
Oh, cool. Was it Pretty Lights or something? What's the music festival there?
Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC.
Okay.
My buddy, he's a He does beer and wine. Well, he did beer and wine sales. Now he just does liquor sales out in Ohio. And he taught me into. He's gone a couple of years, and he's taught me into it. And I'm like, all right, dude, let's see what this 43-year-old can still hang with these 20-year-olds.
Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. That's awesome. And so let's give the audience a little idea, because you own Juggernaut payment processing. Basically, if you're a small business, medium-sized business, or large-sized business, right?
Yeah.
And you need payment processing, I put links to your company. So
cool.
if you're looking for that, solutions, because that whole world is growing and changing every day. And I was kind of interested in talking to you about that, because everyone it seems like it's really easy to start your own business, because you can get one of these Squares or whatever, but then 2 years down the road, you're like, how do I save more money? And I know that constantly changes. So, and that they call you and they're like, hey, I need advice. I want to change this up.
Yeah.
Right? Is that how usually it works?
Yeah. So Square makes everything really easy. I mean, all you need to do is breathe to get it. The downside is there's no risk management. So they're not set up for any type of risk. Like, they're not for high risk, like high-end tickets or online coaching or even online sales. If you get a chargeback, like, there's no protection. They can shut you down. It's even in their terms and conditions. They can shut you down whenever they want to.
Yeah.
What's good is, yes, they're easy to set up. And usually when taking payments when you're starting a business is usually the last thing you're thinking about.
Well, you need to take the payments.
You need to take the payments. But, I mean, Square owns 28% of the market. Toast owns 9%. And not saying they're great, they're not great products. They are. I mean, Square has revolutionized how we take payments.
Yeah.
But the people that run it, the way it's run, like, their customer service is horrible. Their fees are some of the highest.
Well, I mean, see, that's what I expect when it's that easy.
Oh, yeah.
And then especially people don't live in that world, so they don't know what it means to get, the charges.
Yeah.
Or anything like that, and how that gets passed on.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, because that's what I always love, when you go to, now when you go to convenience stores and everything, they have handmade signs like cash. You get a discount.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, is it really a discount? Like, you're still charging me. I feel like you're charging me the same.
It's
but
compliance now. Now it's all about compliance. So there's a thing called dual pricing, which is, let's just say you go into a store and you buy something for $100. If you pay with cash, it's $100. But if you pay with credit card, there's convenience of using that credit card because there's fees involved. So the owner of that business will charge an extra 3.5%, 4% to cover those.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're giving you the option. They're giving you that convenience of using that card, because really you get 3% cash back and all that. Really, the owner of that business is paying for that.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's because I run credit cards too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every time I see that, and I'm like, oh, dang it. How do I not do this?
Well, one of the big, so one thing you can do the dual pricing, but also not take Amex. Now, these processing companies, they have to set you up to take every credit card.
Yeah.
But you don't have to accept every credit card. And Amex has got one of the largest interchange rates out there. So
is that just because they know they can do that, or
usually they have a lot of them are corporate cards. Corporate cards are the highest. But they also have some of the really good
perks.
Perks.
Yeah, I call them perks.
Yeah, they have some really good perks. But it's also not one of the most widely used cards. That's what kind of gets you. So it's kind of like it'll bring your cost down a little bit, but not that much. Especially at flat rate, it doesn't like Square. Square's automatic 2.6 and 10 cents transaction or whatever it is. So that really doesn't affect that. It's when you get into like interchange plus, and that's where really
we're talking shop. I love it.
Oh yeah. So interchange is basically the cost of doing business with a credit card company.
Yeah.
And so there is a way to finagle some of that to where you can get it lower. There's different levels that you can go through where you're getting like PO numbers, addresses, a whole bunch of different stuff, and you can actually lower those interchange rates. Or you
because I'm getting your data and I'm giving
you're getting more data, and
it
makes it less risk vulnerable. So, and that's one of the biggest things with these credit card companies is the risk involved because of all the fraud. People don't understand, like, your information is sold all over the place. the internet, there's only a small amount of internet that is actual what you use on a daily basis.
See, you know what I always thought? I was like, you know how like that one guy who made millions and millions of dollars coming up with like, you know, the thing that you put in the coffee cup to stop it from spilling. Someone made that, right?
Yeah.
I always wanted to be the guy who made the database of selling data. It's like, hey, Microsoft, I got this really easy thing where you can collect data and then you can sell it. Or, you know, just whoever designed the first one probably made so much money because you don't know who it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You have no one talks about that.
Yeah.
And it's like Facebook is like, I feel like I could sell it to Facebook. I'm like, hey, Facebook, I got this.
So Square actually started out as a data mining company that moved on to payments.
Okay.
And so they actually still take that data. They say they don't sell it, but they trade it.
Oh yeah, well I'm saying
So
because it's the shadiest thing ever, and I love it. I love that kind of stuff because you have to be creative in that world.
oh yeah,
Because a lot of people think, oh, why would anyone care what my data is? And I'm like, some weirdos care, and sometimes it's so obvious to people they just don't notice, especially like the Google ads. Like that's like the biggest one where that data is being sold and also traded and used for their platform to help advertisers.
Yep.
And it's not necessarily sold, but it's being used.
oh yeah, it's being used all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about something, 15 minutes later, it's gonna be popping up on your phone somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well, like the biggest recent one, I like to play video games, and there's this game called Helldivers. It's very popular these days, and they have it on PlayStation and then they have it on PC, separate, right? They're separate, and then they announced, oh hey, if you're playing on PC, which I do, you have to create a PlayStation account, even if you don't own a PlayStation, even if like you never owned a PlayStation, you have to create a PlayStation account. And I'm thinking, I wonder what Sony did when they called this company and they made a deal for that data. Like that's purely what it's for, is for the data. And because they were having millions of people, it's like one of those few games that just blew up, and so many people are playing it. And I'm like, yeah, that was weird. I wonder what the value they make this company announce that, because everyone got pissed. They're like, why do I need to create a separate account and I don't have a PlayStation? Like, what's that? What's going on? It's shady.
All about your information.
I know.
It's all about.
But there's a value to it. There's a value to it.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't PlayStation just announce that they're phasing out the PS5?
Well, they're doing. It's weird. Well, it's funny you even mentioned they got hacked. So I was like, yeah, people really want to create.
Did they?
Oh yeah, I think it was about a year and a half ago. I'm like, yeah, I want to create a PlayStation account and get hacked. That's really great.
Yeah, with all your credit card information and stuff.
No, they're doing the gaming world's changing, so it's more of subscription based now. And so I think what they're doing is they're not trying to develop the highest end deal. They're just gonna like, hey, we're just gonna make a system that works for 10 years, and there you go. We're not gonna keep releasing PlayStations.
Oh, okay.
So because PC people are just building PCs, and so that's what I do.
I mean, I went and bought one because I felt like the material that's used in now the work PCs are not as high as quality as what they used to be.
Oh no.
Like back in the 90s, dude, you could put a bullet through one of those things and it still run. Now, like you sneeze or cough on it, it's gonna crash. I think my wife's work computers crashed like 2 or 3 times.
Well, it's the unfortunate thing. The software is always being updated. So when you buy like a low end computer, it's probably good for a year, literally for a year, and then even like Google Chrome or whatever like updates, and it's like now it's crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always I've been blessed when I always have a really awesome computer, no matter where I am. So that's kind of like the lifestyle I chose. I'm like, I'm going to have a very expensive laptop and a very expensive computer. So that way it streamlines everything. I can edit and look at stuff and do things, multiple things.
Yeah.
So, and play a lot of video games. So, and that's a plus.
See, I really just use it for work.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people don't realize how, like, especially if you're doing any type of editing, it's like you need a higher end computer just so you can check your email while editing. Because in the old days, you get to do one
thing,
and you're
one thing, and then it might take 5 minutes for the
and then have to shut it down.
Yeah. So I went and bought an iBuyPower like probably a year ago, and I like it. I mean, it runs super smooth.
Oh yeah.
And, I mean, like I said, I only use it for work and maybe watch a movie or two while I'm doing something else. But being able to watch a movie while you're working to me is awesome.
Everyone does it.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I have 4 screens and a TV right here. I'm
right
like
there.
set up. I'm just like ADD all day.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah, dude, I totally get it.
But yeah, the information stuff, and the funny thing about that too is that's how business is done. Like you need to get information, and that's one thing I always like when I get my credit card somewhere, and you look at the receipt. Like certain receipts have like all this information on it, and you're like, dang, got everything. And then some people it's just like a very simple little tiny receipt, like here you go. And yeah, some companies, I guess. So I can call my processor like, I want to get all this information for you. Don't charge me. Charge me half of what you're charging. I'll get all this information. I'll get their socials for you.
So there are some compliance things with that. Like, so Square, like we talked about, it's super easy to set up. There's no vetting process for a business.
Yeah.
So a lot of the companies that I deal with, they don't sell out the information. They will help you send out information of your customers, but they're not going around selling your information.
Well, I think that's an important thing to tell people too.
Yeah.
Because it is also, there's certain companies that people would be surprised at how much processing they do. Like I always wondered about the people at the utility company here, and they're redoing the website for the city, and I'm thinking, I wonder who's in charge of that side of it, because think about all those people paying their water bills and their trash bills, and that's intense because there's almost like 80,000 people that live in Conroe. Like I
think more now.
Well, I'm not using the city services.
Okay.
And so it's kind of one of those things. It's like I wonder like who's in charge of that.
Dude. There's a lot of money out there moving around.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What's the coolest one that you think of?
Like company?
Like if I was Netflix, I wonder what their processing's like.
Oh, dude, that's probably insane.
Yeah.
I think of Entergy.
Yes.
I mean, so they're over 4 states.
Yeah.
So, and I think they tack on a little fee for all that, but their interchange rate is probably super low because of the amount of information that they get from their customers.
Yeah.
I mean, that processor, whoever has that account is probably making a crap ton of money.
Oh, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, dude, I'd love to have that in that business.
Yeah, well, you got to get out and ride your bike more. Go visit all 4 states.
Dude, that'd be wild. I mean, even the city of Conroe, that would be pretty cool to get the city of Conroe. But I mean, there's probably so much red tape to go through and a vetting process. Like, it would probably be worth it, but it'd be worth it over probably 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah. Well, one thing I always wondered is where do you think the future of transactions are going? Because credit cards now have the chip, which I see more people, even older people, understanding. Yeah. Which is good. Yeah. But then the Apple Pay stuff or the phone Pay stuff, but that never always works 100% of the time.
No, those so that credit card gets put into your phone, which is the wallet.
Yeah.
And they use that NFC radio frequency, whatever, I don't know.
Magic. We call it magic. We call it magic.
The magic for it to connect. And yeah, sometimes if that chip's weak, damaged, it's not going to work right. Even on the terminal itself, after time, it's going to break down. I mean, it heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down. It's all metal and circuits in there. So after time, it's going to wear itself down.
We just need carbon paper and go back to that, right?
Yeah, that's right. Just do
That's so funny. But, because that's when the habits are always really interesting to me of people, how they pay for stuff. Because, like, my habit is I always have cash on me, and then I try to have cash on me just in case. And then when I go anywhere that I don't usually go, I use cash. Yeah. So if I'm visiting a friend, I'm like, oh, we're going to this restaurant, I'll use cash. Yeah. Because it happened one time. I visited a buddy out of city, and I used my card, and of course they were like, hey, you're not usually doing this.
Yeah.
It's out. And I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of a place where I got to get a card, right? Yeah. Well, sorry, you can't do anything about it. And I'm like, well, I need something. Yeah. So
that happened to my wife when me and my wife were first dating. We went to Universal Studios in Florida, and we drove there. We didn't buy plane tickets because they'll kind of match that stuff up. Like if you're buying plane tickets, you're going places, they'll kind of match it up. They can see it. But we drove there, and we used my card to drive down there. Well, she was using it to buy some gifts and crap. Yeah. And in the middle of buying some gifts for her family, like they cut her credit card.
Oh, and while I was on the phone with them, and they're like, "Oh, well, next time you travel, let us know." Yeah. And I go, "You're not my parents." Like
I know, right?
I was like, "What are you?"
Now I will say, when you travel international, yes, definitely let the credit card companies know. Yeah. Because we went down to Mexico because everybody's like, "I'll bring cash, Dude, almost every place we went into, took card.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really don't need cash unless you're gonna
Get robbed.
Yeah, or tip.
Yeah.
I mean, they want cash tips.
Yeah.
I'll say that they want cash tips.
Everyone wants cash. Who doesn't want cash tips?
Yeah. So I mean, under the radar, bro.
Yeah, just pocket that.
But yeah, I'm going to London in August, I think. I think that's when we're going, and we're gonna have to call them and let them know. Even the cell phone, they're like, "Oh, well, you have this subscription. You can go down to Mexico and make phone calls."
But if you go to London,
you got to get a whole new program. Like you got to pay more.
That's why I don't leave anywhere. After that debacle with the credit card, I was like, that's kind of stupid, right? Like, how do I get money?
Yeah.
And so what I had to end up doing is go to the bank, wait for the bank to open. Went in there and brought my ID, brought this, and I'm like, I just need cash. Like, how do I get cash?
Yeah. Well, even like so with EDC for next weekend, like it's all cashless. So like I have to have my card. So I kind of get it. It makes it easier. You know, it puts all the transactions in one place. They can see everything. They can monitor it. The theft is a lot lower. So I mean, I kind of get it. But it is kind of a hassle when you don't want to bust your card out every time. But yeah.
Well, imagine they have those wrist bracelets at those things.
So
I've seen that.
They give you a wristband. Like it's not. I don't think it's like the water park. The water park you can do that. But with the band they give you, it's one of the RF.
The water park does it because you don't have your wallet on you.
Yeah. But I don't know. Because I got on their app last night to take a look at some stuff because they finally opened up the map of what everything's going to look like. And it didn't say anything about loading your wristband because you have to have a wristband to get in.
Yeah.
They even put the weird thing is, so I was messing around. They sent a whole big box. I should have brought the box. It's pretty cool. But they give you a wristband, but the tie that they give you, or the adjustment that they give you, you cannot unadjust it.
Oh, no, it's the little teeth. There's little teeth in there.
I was all like, because I barely pulled it up and tried to put it on my wrist. I was like, oh, I'm like, I'm going to have to pour hot water on it to get it to go. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have played with it.
I like it. You just tape it. They don't care. Actually, they do care.
They do care, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah.
But no, that world's always interesting to me because things are changing so much, especially with the Apple Pay and everyone's using that. And then when you use cash now, everyone looks at you like you're like from back in the 1920s.
Well, I mean, hell, like these kids now will be like, "What years you were born? 1981? Oh, the late 1900s?" Like, dude, like really? Come on.
Well, my favorite people now are the people who don't like carrying change. Have you ever encountered those people?
No, I haven't.
So I work at the 300 Bowl, and those are my favorite people because they just go like, it's like $1.70 for their change, and like, oh, you can keep the change. And I was like, okay. And then one guy's like, I just don't want change. I don't carry change. I don't want that. And I'm like, well, it still adds up. Like, why would you not want change? I have a jar at my house that is just filled with change.
I do. I have a little one, but I pull change out. So I'm looking for certain dates because my dad got me on to pulling out pennies before 1983 because they're all copper. And so they're actually not worth a penny. They're more than a penny. And so he's got me.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to start doing that.
But yeah, I mean, I got some nickels from, the 40s and 50s and stuff that I just put in a different jar and put everything else in a.
And then you melt it, and then you try to hawk like a thing of copper?
No, because it's going to be worth more face value than melted. For me, it is, just because I like it. I think it's just kind of cool. But all the other stuff,
it's kind of weird also.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll go to HEB and just get the rest of it. Like I got my jar right now is almost full, so probably next week before I leave, I'll go to HEB and.
Oh, like Coinstar. That's talk about fees.
Dude, like what is it, like 10%?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Like 10-13%. Yeah, I was like, and they're like, do you want a gift card? Because I think
the bank won't even take it now.
They won't.
They're requirements, and the requirements are a little ridiculous to the point where it's like I have to do a lot of work to meet your requirements.
Oh, you have to put it in the sleeves. You have to
do the sleeves, but then it has to weigh a certain thing. And if it's wrong, like a little bit off, they're like, nope, sorry, you have to go, and you don't know which one it is, Because say you're sleeving, 400 things, you don't know which one's the wrong one.
Oh, dude, I did not know that.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in years. I used to back in the day when I was a waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to get change. I find change, I put it in my pocket. And I always have change.
Yeah.
So.
Well, even sound like I got my son when we're walking around, he's looking at the ground trying to find pennies and seeing what year it is and all that other stuff. So yeah.
But now no one uses cash or anything. No one writes checks anymore.
No.
That's my favorite one. I had that encounter not too long ago where I had to write a check, and it was to void it. They wanted a voided check.
Yeah, I got to do that. I do have to do that.
And I'm like, I don't have a checkbook. Like, I literally haven't had a checkbook since high school.
Yeah.
And so I had to go. I was like, can I just go to the bank and get one check? No, you can't. You got to order.
No. You can get a bank letter. A bank letter with the routing number and the account number should be fine. I mean, I have to do that with mine because they want to make sure where the money's going.
Yeah.
You know, they got to double check because they have their own process through the processing banks that they go through. But yeah,
you don't process it.
No, so I work with a couple of processing banks.
Yeah.
I have an ISO, which is called an Independent Sales Organization, and they basically work. I work with the banks, but it's underneath this ISO.
Yeah.
And so this ISO is kind of like the umbrella. And so, yeah, the 4 things I really need to start an application: your driver's license, a voided check, always ask for the EIN, and then depending, sometimes they'll want 90 days of bank statements and 90 days of processing. But usually the first 3 are all I need to even start an application. If it's all in person, that's all I need. Because I can do an in-person application in like 45 minutes. And it's usually on the spot, okay, if it's all in person. Like I did a acupuncturist.
Ooh, male.
Uh-oh. I did an acupuncturist. And, I mean, I filled out her application, and I think within 15 minutes, they were building her file, getting the terminal set up to send out.
Yeah, because I guess the terminals have changed, too. Because now it's like all little iPads.
Yeah,
I feel like everything's an iPad.
I should have brought a couple of them, but yeah, I mean, like you have the restaurant, you have the big monitors, and then the little terminals, and then some are all touch point. Like I did a donut shop right around the corner on 336.
You didn't bring any donuts? I feel like you're like a mafia guy now.
I know everybody.
Yeah, like I get money from all these businesses, and I make sure they pay.
That's right. Everybody's paying me.
Yeah, I want my dozen donuts, yo.
Nah, they're a sweet couple. That the little donut shop in the where Academy is, Maylene's.
Okay.
Yeah, they process through me. Yeah, their screen. You can see this is my power bank, but anyways, yeah, their screen kind of looks like that, and it's all touch.
Why do you carry a power bank?
Man, you never know.
Okay.
You never know.
Fair enough.
I try to be prepared. I don't know. I bought this for EDC because it's supposed to be run from 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
So you're carrying that with you?
Dude, I bought myself a sling backpack.
Oh, you're really going for it. Did you get any like war paint?
No.
You got any war paint?
No. In fact, I'll probably just wear all my Juggernaut t-shirts while I'm there.
That's what I would do.
I mean, I don't know. I might. So my buddy's really into it, and I'm probably gonna go buy him because I mean it's Vegas, so they have all sorts of random stores. But I found a store that sells like these weird goggles, and my buddy's a weird dude.
I like it. Sounds weird. I like it,
dude. I mean, So me and him. I'll tell you backstory with me and him. So me and him met at Disney. I worked at Disney for a while, and we became friends just because he started just to hang around me. Like, I was like, who's this weird kid following me around? And then we just became friends. And then he was my best man at my wedding. And then, I missed the birth of his son by like 15 minutes. So, I mean, we've been friends for, almost 20 years now. But he's Jewish. I'm LDS. So you can't have two weird people. He's bald headed. I got long hair, and he's got me into growing my beard out.
Well, it's the yin yang kind of thing. I like it.
But I mean, he's a cool dude. And I love him to death. And so, but he's got me into doing some of this stuff. And so, I mean, he's my buddy. I said, I'll try it once. And
you're going to have a good time.
I'll probably have a good time.
You just can't be boring.
Oh, no. I mean, I love that. I love that music.
Oh, okay. Then you're good.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I love that type of music. So I'll go out and have a good time. I even bought some earplugs and.
Yeah, that's so my best friend is a concert person. He always travels. That's like his vacation. They do the festivals. Yeah. I'm not a festival person. And I remember one time we're hanging out. We went to a local festival in Austin, and he pulls out the earplugs, and I look at him and I'm like, "What am I about to get into? Why do you need earplugs? Aren't we supposed to be listening to the music?" And he's like, you'll understand after about an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to be here if that's what I don't have earplugs. Am I gonna?
Yeah. Yeah. I used to go down to Scout Bar
Okay.
down in, I guess, it was Webster, League City, and there were certain bands that I would like to go see every now and again. And I think probably about the third time is when I started wearing earplugs.
Yeah.
'Cause the next day it's just like whoa.
Well, what's great though is like when we were together, there was like 10 of us, and all of them were like, "Oh yeah, earplug up." I'm like, well, we're going into battle, and I don't have anything. And but so I was fine. I'm not a wimp like him, but he also goes all day. I'm like,
dude, I mean, I can feel myself starting to go because I have my earplugs that I wear when I go to the gym, and so I mean, I wear them hour and a half, 5-6 days a week, and I got them on full blast because I don't want no background music or background noise, and so I know I'm going deaf. And I just got to be okay with it. But
Fair enough.
yeah, no, but when I go to Vegas, I'm gonna wear earplugs because it's I want to say they have like 8 stages, and it's just gonna be lights.
yeah, it's just
and
everything.
music, just
It's gonna be
everything.
nuts.
So I know I'm.
They have a
need
big
it.
festival here this weekend,
Oh yeah,
the biggest Texas festival.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So we're going to that. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
I like the camp. I like the fairgrounds. It's a cool location. So
Yeah.
they're taking full advantage of the whole
Whole
thing.
thing, yeah. Because it's
So-
3 days, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they also have they're using the arena for equestrian stuff for horseback riding, and then they have so it's not just music. There's
okay.
there's like an art exhibit,
Okay.
all that kind of weird stuff. So,
That's cool.
but yeah,
That's cool. How'd you like? Because how much were the tickets?
if I remember
You special
correctly,
got for free.
well, no, I mean I'm Dick, so I'm they
Dick.
basically put the festival on for me. No, no, the thing that if I remember correctly, like you get 3-day pass for like $350.
Okay.
And then I don't know what the individual ticket, because they weren't offering individual tickets when I first started researching it. And now they're doing general admission tickets, which is probably like $100, $140.
Like day by day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people kind of scoff at that kind of thing. And I'm like, no, it actually makes sense. Like you're seeing you could see 7 bands.
Yeah.
And so if all 7 bands charge you $15, $20 to see that band.
That's not bad. No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
people don't think of that.
Yeah.
Because they think of, it's $350.
Yeah.
And then they don't
Yeah.
they don't understand, like, hey, this isn't for just like going to see one person. It's an event.
Yeah. So with EDC, I think I want to say I paid 600 and something.
Yeah.
But it's like 60 different DJs.
Oh, it's
It's in
convenience.
the Las Vegas Speedway,
Oh wow.
and they're gonna have carnival rides.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
Like-
think they might have carnival rides at this.
I'm
and-
like, dude, yes.
so like, 'cause I think there was my buddy's bachelor party. They did Pretty Lights. I think it was called Pretty Lights, and it was attached to one of the casino hotels there. So like one wing of the casino went into the festival.
Yeah.
And you could stay there. It's like one price. So you get your tickets, and you get the 3-day pass, and you get a room for 3 days. And like you literally just have to walk in and go. Like, so I had my own. You have your own bathroom.
Oh yeah.
So that's that's really important to me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the rule of thumb. Wherever you go, there's got to be a bathroom within like 50 yards. So
Yeah, that's because I was looking at that map, going, where are the bathrooms at? Where are the bathrooms at? And then so they have regular general admission, and then they have VIP. And VIP has its own special like bathrooms, and I'm like, I wonder if it's almost worth it to go ahead and upgrade.
well, I mean, if you
to
have
get-
money, why not? You got to
but
spend
it's
it.
like, I mean, it's like an extra $400.
Yeah.
I mean, but over 3 days, I mean, that's $100 and something bucks. I mean, like that might.
I want to
make-
say, like, because ACO got announced, and my buddies were all talking about going, and then I just looked it up. I think it was like the most expensive ticket was like $10,000.
Oh.
But it like you get an RV or like you get a cabin or something. I don't know what it was. I was like, what does that even mean? And like, why would you go somewhere else? Like, if you have this cool place,
Yeah.
unless it's like right in front of.
Because how was that, 2 weeks?
It's 2 weeks.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
if you thought thinking about like all the hotels around in that area where
Yeah.
they have it, like they jump up at least 30, 40, 50%. So it might be worth. I mean, if they do have some stuff like that, it'd almost be worth it to do it and maybe bring in a couple of people.
Well, I think now that's per ticket.
Oh, that's for bro. Like if you could bring a couple people, if they have like an RV, that would be worth it.
Well, don't people do that? What is that crazy one out in the desert?
Burning Man.
Yeah, isn't that?
Or
I think it's called Burning Man.
there's Burning Man and there's another one, Coachella.
Well, that's not. Well, Coachella, I thought was more organized. Like, it's not just randomly in the
Dude, I
desert
don't
where you got to
know.
bring your own stuff. Because, like, I remember.
And I'm Burning Man now. I mean, yeah, that video, that TRX pulling that bumper pull trailer, dude, that was insane. That would have been a good commercial for Dodge if they would have just pulled their head out of their butt. But anyway,
Well, my buddy was there when I got rained out, and he said it was the worst experience of his life. And I also like, you're used to AC, so that's the problem.
Yeah, dude,
if you're not used to the AC, you're fine.
Yeah.
But he's one of those fancy boys. That's what I call him.
Oh, yeah. I hate. My wife got us to buy an RV, or not an RV, a trailer, and we towed it to Salt Lake to go visit her family, and that was like the worst experience ever. Like,
Driving an RV is pretty fun.
now, see, I tried to talk her into that, but it was just way too much out of the budget.
Yeah.
Like, because I can probably do that, but that pull along trailer, I mean, we have a 4Runner, and
That's not very good.
It's not. Like, they say the towing capacity is like 5,500 pounds. That is not a 5,500 pound towing machine. And I mean, our trailer was 3,500, and I mean, it struggled. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
no, I'm like, I told you we should have got a truck with a V8, and she just got pissed.
Well, for this one time.
For this one, well, I mean, we need a truck, and that's my next plan. You know, I bought my bike. That was the number one thing I wanted when I started this business with my bike. And so hopefully next year I plan on buying a truck.
That's cool, man.
So,
Yeah, I have a truck, but it can only tow 1,500 pounds, so I'm not really.
was it Ford Ranger?
No, it's a Maverick.
Oh,
The
you got a
smaller
Maverick?
one. The smaller one.
I thought they had a lot more towing capacity than that.
Well, I got a hybrid,
Oh yeah.
so you're kind of cut in half.
Oh yeah, and it drains it pretty quick, doesn't it? Like if you tow anything with it, it drains that battery power.
No, it's a hybrid, so it uses.
Oh,
it-
okay,
it has-
okay. I thought it was. I'm sorry,
No, it's
I thought
not
it was
full
true
electric.
EV.
Yeah, it's not true
Okay.
EV. I would never do that. That would suck. But the gas mileage is phenomenal.
Is
So,
it?
Yeah, I get 50 miles per
wow.
gallon when I'm.
Dude, my bike doesn't even think of that.
So yeah, it's only when I go here though. If I drive anywhere else, it kind of goes down to 40 or whatever. But yeah,
Dude.
drive into the studio, I get 50. I'm like, this is awesome. I never have to fill up. But yeah, there we go.
That's cool.
Is there anything else going on, man?
Oh man, I mean, just living life, trying to make business work. I mean, that's my biggest thing right now is trying to make this business
So
work.
meet local businesses here. So if you're a local business and need, like one thing I would encourage people, just look at your current processing
Oh yeah,
and see what's going on, because I feel like you're pretty knowledgeable about that. So you can also almost be like a consultant. Like you don't have to actually use
no,
you.
I have people send me the merchant statements all the time. That merchant statement what tells me everything.
Yeah.
And I've seen some wild stuff. A lot of these bigger companies that do processing, they do this thing where they put you in tiers. So, you know, this type of card you get this special pricing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And if it's what they call a non-qualified, dude, you get some of the best pricing. But the bad part about that non-qualified or that qualified card is that there's not a whole lot of them. So you might get 1 or 2 transactions a month, depending on your volume of that qualified card. But everything else, your rates are like through the roof.
Yeah, just look at your business and see what kind
Yeah.
of clients you're dealing with and
Yeah.
what kind of process or payments you're accepting.
Yeah.
And then it's like you just got to accept it.
Yeah.
Because like us over here at Lone Star, I just accept it. I'm like, this is the cost of doing business, and we don't do all like every day. We're not processing. So if I was doing something every day, I would be looking at that stuff every month.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we going to save 3% this month? Because
Yeah.
that's a lot. That can go a long ways over the course of the year.
And I talked to somebody out in Angleton not too long ago. Dude, they were up to 15% because some of these processing companies stick a whole bunch of these weird fees in there.
Yeah.
And you just don't know what it is.
And then they change it every month or every year. It's like, oh, hey, if you have 15,000 processes in a month, we'll give you this thing. And then the next year, like, oh, that tier's no longer existing.
Yeah.
Now we do 20,000, and you're not qualified anymore.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah,
like,
they do a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, like with me, like nothing changes. Like that rate is your rate.
yeah,
And if you want to change it, we'll look at it, and then you have to sign off on it.
yeah.
Because I had to do that earlier with a low volume client. Because if it doesn't know, like it actually costs me money to process if it doesn't reach a certain volume.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They put, like you said, tiers, and it's
Yeah.
like that's how you get your cheaper rate.
Uh-huh.
But if you're doing like 10 processes a year, you're probably going to get the highest rate possible because you're only
Yeah.
doing 10.
Yeah. But yeah, with me, it is what it is unless we had to sit down and have that conversation. You sign off on it.
And you get donuts or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or get a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those things. Always got to make it work. You're like the mafia.
You gotta make it work. Yeah. Just salesman.
That's the way I think.
Yeah. But no, I love sitting down and looking at it, and I'll run it through an analysis and see where we're at.
Well, I put your contact information for people who are watching online. So like I think I even put your phone number and your email and all that kind of stuff. So you can reach out to Scott, and you might see him on the bike. So be careful if you see that helmet. Don't try to fake him out. Don't do that kind of stuff. Bike people are very aggressive. I'm pretty sure he carries too, so don't mess with Scott. I'm just kidding.
Government needs to know.
No one needs to know, man. But yeah, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thanks,
hanging
man.
out with me, and good. Have fun. Be safe in
Vegas,
because that's a little. I mean, that sounds like too much for me, like right now. But I'm gonna have fun at Biggest Texas because I like that area. I know where the bathrooms are, so that's the most important part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for coming in. Guys, you've been listening to Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com worldwide. If you want to be a guest on our shows, look us up online, irlonestar.com. And we have a lot of shows going on. It is Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your day. We got multiple programs coming up, so just check out our calendar. Make sure to like and subscribe to us on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Have a legal question? Are you a